That brings us to 10:36 in the morning. You're listening to WNJC 1360 AM radio, and we just had Colin Hanna, one of the most respected organizations in the country. And now we're going to bring on a young man who has just starting a group, and if Colin Hanna is the master, then our next guest, his name is Steve Piotrowski, is the grasshopper. And I say he has hit the ground running with his group. It's in Conshohocken. So if you are listening and you're in the Conshohocken area and you've been looking for a group to join up with, I would encourage you to seek out Steve Piotrowski. We will advertise his website and how you can get in touch with him. If you have a question and you want to call in, please do. The number is 856-227-1360. So now I want to bring on the leader of a brand new grassroots organization. It's called Citizens for Liberty, and its founder is Steve Piotrowski from Conshohocken. So good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good morning, Rich. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
Well, I'm great. You know, I'm so proud of you. I've been reading your sort of newsletters that you've been putting out on your Facebook and in your emails about you have distributed over 500 yard signs that say school choice, promoting school choice, which I think is a very important program. And this is what I like about you, because a lot of people, you know, they start, they have intentions of getting going, but you are actually active. You've gone door to door, talking to neighbors, talking to strangers about candidates and about issues, and this is exactly the very best of a grassroots activist organization. So I want to give you a chance now to talk about Citizens for Liberty, and I know you have your very first meeting coming up, and I want you to tell us all about that meeting, where it is, because I am encouraging everyone listening that can attend to join you. I think you're going to be one of the bright spots, one of the hot spots for grassroots activism. So tell us a little bit about Citizens for Liberty.
Well, thank you, Rich, for those comments. Citizens for Liberty, we do have a certain energy. We're trying to get a lot of young people involved, too, because they are the future. We did start about a month ago, believe it or not, in May of 2012 by me and my sister-in-law, Jackie Piotrowski. And just like you said, we're based out of Montgomery County, and we're going to have our meetings once a month in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. I guess I'd start off by saying, who are we? We're a new grassroots. We like to be called an activist organization because we love being on the ground. We want to be out in the neighborhoods. We want to get people registered to vote. That's our big thing this year. We're dedicated to being active in the community. We just want to bring together like-minded freedom lovers and promote fiscal responsibility. We're all about a constitutionally limited government. We support free markets, and we're definitely anti-socialism, Rich. And we just want to get, yeah, that's our big thing. We want to get a bunch of great people together that are willing to make a difference. We have enthusiastic leaders, and definitely we have a clear plan of action. So, yeah, we will be having once-a-month meetings starting in less than a week. This Wednesday, we'll be in Conshohocken at Spam's Restaurant. I don't know if your guests are familiar with it. It's really nice. It's a relaxed atmosphere. It's First, and it's actually the address is 16 East First Avenue. It's in the heart of Conshohocken. We'll be there Wednesday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be great. We're going to have a few very special guest speakers. We're not going to tell you who they are right now because we want people to come out, but it's going to be surprising, enlightening, educational, and we're going to get people involved. I guess, would you like me to just tell you why I wanted to start this?
Sure.
Yeah, well...
Oh, well, hold on, Steve. Hold on, Steve. Go ahead, Kevin.
Steve, yeah, I wanted to ask you, and I was going to jump in. You're obviously an energetic young guy. You've got a lot to offer, and it seems like you're attracting a lot of people. But what was it that first made you sit up and say, you know what, I have to get involved. I have to start jumping into the political ring and making a difference?
Well, you know what? I've been involved, I guess, since 2008. I really didn't know too much about politics. I started listening to conservative talk radio, and that started getting me really energized. For the past few years, I've been involved through local patriotic groups, Tea Party groups. I always felt like there was something that I wanted to do, I just didn't know what. I also been in leadership through certain local Tea Party groups. I just knew that I had to just get into the ring because, it's 2012. We have less than 4 months to the election. November's coming up pretty quick, and I just feel that I had to do something. I'm not a public speaker. I'm just a regular person out there that has a lot of heart, and I just feel that we're at a milestone with the state of this country, and if I don't fight, who will? If not now, when? So I just feel like I have to do something. Just looking at the state of the economy right now. So I guess that's what energizes me. I see a lot of tyranny going on and a lot of bad things in this country, especially Scott Walker. That energized me as well. So I just started this a month ago with my sister-in-law, and yeah, she's been a really great part of this as well, and getting me energized and just talking to a lot of people. It just excites me.
Well, that's great. I think that the Tea Party movement and the activist movement on the conservative side had a lot of difficulty getting in touch with younger people. But now, after the euphoria of the 2008 election and all the hope and change, emotion and nonsense and false promises, you've got kids who are going through a pretty tough time, and being in your parents' basement at 26 is not such a cool gig. So what is your message to get young people kind of aware of what's happening to them and what's being imposed upon them by the socialist agenda?
Sure, no problem. Well, I guess under the Obama administration, being 26 and living in your parents' basement might be a good thing because, if you're 26, you can still stay on Obamacare until that age. So that might be a good thing. But as far as getting younger people involved, I'm in my late 20s, and I've noticed it's been really hard. But one of the first steps I've noticed in getting younger people involved in just approaching them and getting them to come to local meetings. That's one of the things that I've noticed. As soon as, they can talk about it and they don't think that politics mean anything, but I try to explain to them, look, it seems like politics could be every aspect of our life sometimes. It's very important. So I would just encourage a lot of, I guess the younger kids, even teenagers, come to a meeting, come to a patriotic rally, and you just got to get them energized to actually want to do something. And sure, you can even, start off slow, I would say, and then work them in and start off and talk to them about things that they might actually want to care about. So I think that would be one of the big things I would do first, just to get the younger people involved.
Well, do you think that there's a general awakening look, a lot of these kids go to school from first grade on. They're being indoctrinated into this left-wing nonsense, and by the time you get out of college, you're sitting with $100,000 worth of debt, and you're more indoctrinated than educated. But that said, reality crashes in pretty fast once you leave the cocoon of academia. Do you see some of these younger kids now realizing that maybe they were sold a false bill of goods?
Yes, I do. I've been talking to a lot of people. Believe it or not, I've been, me being in my late 20s, I do have a lot of liberal friends, and it seems like a lot of them are waking up. A lot of them have been voted, they voted for Obama, and they said, hey, you know what? I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. The liberals and my friends are saying that, we don't like his policies. We voted him, that hope and changing nonsense, and they just, been waking up. And that's one of the reasons why I'm involved in school choice. I want to give people another option besides being indoctrinated in the public schools.
How in the world did you guys get 600 yard signs out? Tell us how you organized that, and then if you've gone door to door, what have you gone door to door for so far?
No problem. Well, let's see here. We attended a Freedom Works workshop, and we just felt like this would be a good thing. We were always interested in school choice. There's a couple bills in the Senate, I believe, right now. They're not perfect, but they do need some work. I believe in free market education, I guess I'd say it. After hearing people speak about it, and especially Scott Walker, look at his school choice bill that passed. They're doing great things. I don't really have a lot of faith in, I guess I'd say, government schools. A lot of conservatives are starting to really learn about free market education. And school choice, basically, I'd say it allows families to choose the best education available for their child, regardless of social or economic status. Rich parents know their children best and care about them the most. And basically, they're the most impacted by their children's success. Therefore, I just, believe that parents, their role is to choose the I was indoctrinated. I'll get to that in 1 second, but about school choice and one last note, it allows the same principles that drive the success in free market economies. You know, I guess public schools is like a monopoly. And I think we need to take the power away from the public schools and the big teachers unions and put them back into the private sector. I'm all for private schools, charter schools, homeschooling, things of that nature. And just seeing what's going on, and we just felt like, hey, you know what? We got to be out there on the ground. We got to talk to people. We want to educate people. And look, we just flooded Montgomery County, Chester, and Philadelphia with about 500 or 600 signs.
Wow.
In 2 days. So we're just, we were just
Isn't that
very
great to hear,
honored.
Kevin? Oh my gosh.
It is, and you know, you bring up a great point. The reason school choice works is because you know a mother loves their child, and you know a mother's always going to make the best decision for her child. And when that money follows the child and the mother controls it, you know you're going to have success, as opposed to some bureaucrat who is totally removed from the people he supposedly represents, deciding where your child should go to school. I think if we make that argument, we're going to have a tremendous amount of success, especially to those mothers, maybe those single mothers in the inner city who have no choice, but they still love their kids.
Exactly. I agree 100%. It just hurts me that I just see so many children that are trapped in failing government-run zip code schools. Mm-hmm. And it just gives people, you know, it's just a small piece of the puzzle, I believe. It gives people, you know, more choice. I'm all about free market.
Stephen, you were just about ready to say something about how you felt you were indoctrinated by your education. Would you kind of elaborate?
No problem. Well, let's see here. High school, about 9th or 10th grade, you know, in Plymouth White Marsh. It's in Montgomery County. That was my public high school. And they started talking to us about 9th or 10th grade about, you know, what's in politics, voting, what's a Republican, what's a Democrat, and what are the differences. And my history teacher told me the difference between Republicans and Democrats, students, is Republicans are for the rich, and Democrats are for the poor. So who do you want to be with? Obviously, everybody raises their hands and say, we want to be fighters for the poor. So, yeah, we got indoctrinated because of that. Mm-hmm. That was one big thing. Just many of things. I'm sure I could recall a few other things later, but they were really, I guess, on that stigma.
Did you feel that your teachers brought a lot of their politics into the classroom? I mean, if you were doing a certain subject and all of a sudden they would bring, was that common for your, you know, experience?
It was very much common for my experience. Even in middle school, 7th or 8th grade, when, you know, I didn't really care about politics, but I just, at the same time, I knew that things weren't right. I had teachers that used to bring us things about Bill Clinton and praise him, and one time I just, I don't know what got, maybe this got me into politics in 7th or 8th grade. The teacher was praising Bill Clinton, so one day I came in with a list of facts, and I was debating the teacher in front of the whole class, and she basically just shut me down, though, but I just wanted to offer her another opinion and another side of what she was trying to, I guess, indoctrinate the class. But yeah, it's been crazy, Rich. A lot of teachers I've noticed throughout my lifetime, just the things they tell you and the things they teach you.
Well, a professor is someone who loves to espouse to young minds those things that he himself avoided by staying in academia. I love teachers who talk about business in business school. My first question when I went to Villanova was always, well, what was your private sector experience? What did you do in the real world? And if he said he's a lifetime academic, you know what? I dropped that class and I went to the guy who actually, you know, tore the leather in the real world because he had a lot more.
Hey, I want to go back and sort of reemphasize what got you going, because this is what I think is the crux of what you're doing. Why I am so proud of you is you basically saw a need and you filled it. I mean, you live in Conshohocken, and I know that I first met you at a Glenn Beck event that your aunt and uncle hosted. I think it was in Honeybrook or something. Am I right? Do you remember where that was? Yeah, it was a TV event. They set it up. I guess they called this tavern restaurant, and they said, we want to watch the Glenn Beck event. And it was a Saturday. I think it started around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was great. It was filled to capacity, maybe 45, 50 like-minded people. and we all watched it, and I got to say a few words and talk about the sheepdogs and why it's important that we are in the fight of our lives to take our country back, because the liberals control the propaganda machinery in our country, and it's up to people like us. And there you were, you don't live anywhere near Honeybrook. You've been to my rallies in Westchester. I know you've been to rallies in Valley Forge, but you're in Conshohocken, and you've got nothing. And I remember you calling me up and saying, hey, Rich, I want to start something like what you do in Conshohocken. And that was about, like you said, 2008. And now here you are. I'm looking at your Facebook website. You're so well organized. You talk about, you tick off your missions, fiscal responsibility, constitutional government, free markets, individual liberty, sound money. I mean, you sort of focus now, because there's no handbook for how to do this, but we learn on the fly. And I think you've been you've been to so many things, and you've taken what you like, and now you've got your own thing, and that's what you have to do, because why should you have to travel 30 miles away when you've got a need in Conshohocken and you're filling it? So, I repeat, where's the meeting again? Say the restaurant you're having it at next Wednesday, the 27th.
Sure, no problem. As Rich said, it's Wednesday the 27th. It starts at 6:30 p.m. Should go for about an hour and a half. It's at a restaurant called Spamps. It's S-P-A-M-P-S. It's Spamps. It's a restaurant and bar. It's at 16 East 1st Avenue in Conshohocken. It's right off of Fayette Street. As soon as you go over that bridge, I'm sure everybody knows that bridge. It's 1st Avenue and Fayette. It used to be an old funeral home, but don't let that scare you. But it's a really popular restaurant. A lot of young people go there. We have a private room upstairs, and it's going to be a relaxed atmosphere. We can order some food, drink, but it's also going to be formal. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just clicked on the website because it is a funny-sounding name, Spamps, like S-P as in Papa, A-M-P-S, Spamps. And, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm sure I know you're expecting 20 to 30, which is outstanding. I mean, for people listening, I want you to understand that a group of just 5 or 8 can do a lot of damage, as they say. Look at our special forces. So in a way, I just feel like we are the street fighters, and I'm all for it. I'm glad Kevin said it, because I'm all for these small groups, all having, doing their own thing. I wish every town had a group, had a Citizens for Liberty or a Sheepdogs, because then I think that's how we will influence our legislators to stop being rhinos and stop disappointing us and catering to the unions. And even Kevin, look what Kevin Kelly, our great co-host, is doing in Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia is run by one party, the Democrat Party, for going on 60 years. But now Kevin has done amazing things. How many seats did you fill, committee seats that were empty for decades, Kevin, in 3 months?
And I hate to give any credit to me, it was a lot of other good people, but we filled 400 in about a month and a half of the 1,900 that were vacant, and we did that in primarily minority communities where we really just showed up and made the case. And Steve, I wanted to ask you a quick question.
Sure.
I love the Southeast because there's so many diverse groups. You have the Sheepdogs, you have the Kitchen Table Patriots, you have Americans for Prosperity, your group, the Loyal Opposition, and we all are doing our own thing. We all fill a certain niche. What do you think your niche is going to be? Where do you think you're going to have the most effect and impact, especially coming up in November?
Sure. Well, first off, I just wanted to say that all those groups, including American Sheepdogs, they've inspired me to do what I want to do. To be honest, we're trying to get a lot of young people involved. We're trying, people say that the Tea Party went away, but it's always been here. But guess what? We just want to re-energize it. We want to. There's nothing in our immediate area. I'd say Conshohocken, Plymouth Meeting, Wackett Hill, and we figured that we had to start something in our area. We want to do our own thing, but also collab with everybody else because we have one goal, and that's get Obama out of office in November.
Well, the good thing is, I don't believe that the Tea Party, and I use that term generically from all these groups, ever really went away. But you can only have so many rallies. I think these are people primarily who have jobs, who are this idea, and I know a lot of these left-wing newscasters and commentators like to say, oh, the Tea Party's dead. I think the Tea Party targets for effect, and when they do target, they are very, very effective, and we're glad to have you as part of that coalition of patriots.
Exactly, and thank you very much. You're right. You're 100% right. I think the Tea Party, or just, groups in general, or people that are doing good things for our communities and our country, they seem to be getting more active in other things besides rallies. They still have their rallies, and they still get together, but they're being more active as